2014. Let's see if the Eagles can ride that hot hand down the stretch. Crusaders win the tap, and we're underway. It's Champ Week on ESPN, and this is the Patriot League Tournament. I'm Kevin Gale, joined by Kevin Wells. Great to have you here. Zipped inside to Jarrell Gates. All league, second team, bumping bodies, and scores. That's what he does best, Kev.
Well, right from the get-go, they go right to the source. They dump it inside. Gates does a great job of working his magic in the paint.
Only player in the Patriot League top 2 in scoring and rebounding against league teams. A couple big bodies in front, O'Neal and Rogers for American. They'll have to go to war with Gates down low. Here is Gates on Rogers. Rogers back to the basket. Skips it outside. That's Elijah Stevens, all rookie selection. Missed on the jumper, and Luke's got the board. He can rise high at 5'11".
Well, here's that tempo that we were talking about in the open. Unfortunately, tough pass inside.
You can see Bo Montgomery was trying to push the pace like Brett Nelson wants. No good on the hanger, and back the other way. Brett Nelson said, no time wasted. Get it up the floor, make good passes, get a shot up quick. Like this. Luke missed. Loose ball, one back by the Eagles. End-to-end action. Nelson talked about how slow his team came out of the gate in the loss against Army West Point on Saturday. Crusaders shot 28% from the floor.
Well, obviously, it's going to be imperative for them to shoot the basketball much better tonight. I like the tempo early on, and it's something that they're going to have to do.
7 to shoot. O'Neal spins inside, left it short. Offensive board, got fouled. And O'Neal will shoot 2 after our first foul of the game. It's on Bo Montgomery. Mike Brennan, Princeton alum, you guessed it. He's running the Princeton offense. 9th year as American's head coach. They won it all in this league back in 2014. And Brett Nelson didn't get an opportunity to coach in the Patriot League tournament last year. His team had to opt out due to COVID-19 protocols. First shot is good for Johnny O'Neal. Kev, I know the Crusaders were disappointed they didn't get a first-round bye into the quarterfinals, but you get the feeling they can build a lot of momentum back here at home where they've been much better this season.
Well, I think that one of the things that Coach Nelson continues to get his team to understand is the fact that they've got to bring it here and they've got to bring it now. This is a brand new season. It starts tonight for them. Both of these teams are undefeated.
Into the hands of Gates. Lost it. That's a turnover. Looked like he wasn't quite ready for it. Bounced right off his chest. You know, talking with Brett Nelson about his postseason plan, he said, we want to keep it simple. Locked in on both ends of the floor. We've seen this team twice. We don't need 10 things on a list. We just want to focus on 3 or 4 things. Unselfish basketball, max effort, find ways to get the early momentum. His team does not want to dig out of another second half deficit.
Well, Kev, 2 minutes into it, Holy Cross has 2 turnovers already. Not a good start that way.
Rogers trying to dribble around Gates, throws it in off the glass. At 6'9", he's got a 3-inch height advantage over Gates.
Nice baby hook there, nice soft touch.
Now Gates, mismatch on Becton. Corner 3 for Dorsey, he's got it. Nolan Dorsey has found his touch from outside the last 3 games. Now shooting 34% outside.
Great job by Jarrell Gates. They dumped the ball to him in the post, double teamed, and then he had the kick out. Nice job by Dorsey.
Backdoor, too easy. That's Stacey Becton, sizey at 6'4". Call him a guard, call him a forward. He can do it all.
Well, again, that backdoor cut is something that's been kind of an Achilles heel for this Crusader team this year.
Montgomery missed everything on the 3. It's back to the Eagles. 6-5 game here in the early going. Holy Cross, 2 of 3 from the floor. They've had a couple turnovers, though.
Well, let's take a look here. You have American. Nice job by Becton. He faked out, got the defender to go with him to the perimeter, and then he cut backdoor hard.
Fakes the shot. Rogers goes outside. Elijah Stevens lost his footing. Blocked from behind. Jarrell Gates got his paw up. Numbers for the Crusaders. Luke down the middle, got fouled. They're not going to give it to him. It was on the floor.
Oh, Kyrell Luke again pushing the basketball up, but you're right, he gets bumped. Here's Jarrell Gates with a great block, and then they're off to the racers.
Foul went against Stacey Becton. Gates in and out, and he'll go to the line.
Gates once again doing a great job of using his body. Because he's a little bit shorter, he uses his body so very well to protect the basketball, Kev.
So after the foul on Stevens, it is Gates who works on this mid-range and free throw shooting more than just about anyone we've seen. Gates had a double-double last time out against Army. Good touch around the rim, 18 points, 11 rebounds. He had 22 points, 12 rebounds against Colgate the game before. He rises to the occasion, especially in the second half. If you ask me, Kev, I'm still surprised he was all Patriot League second team. He looked like a first teamer, if not an MVP contender.
Well, I'd have to agree with you wholeheartedly there. Of course, we're somewhat biased, but I think that his production certainly warranted that consideration.
Kenny secured the Stevens miss. Now he wiggles inside. Wide open look for Martindale. Off the tin. Stevens directing traffic, wanted to go fast. Becton trailing on the play, goes right back to him.
Yeah,
Rogers turns into Gates, trapped in the lane. Outside O'Neal, no good on the three. This is the Princeton offense where bigs will step out and take those threes with confidence.
Again, Holy Cross trying to create tempo, looking for that first really good shot that they can get off.
Luke turned away from the screen by Gates. Now Martindale's turn. Glides inside for two. We've seen Judson Martindale attack the rim a little bit more down the stretch this season. His head coach would prefer he spots up a little bit more, but credit to Martindale, who had 5 points on an 11-point run late against Army just a couple days ago. Give me that. Rogers missed it all, and you can see why he took. Some of the most impressive players there was Colin Smalls, the sophomore. Really drove inside, drew a lot of free throws. I think Holy Cross would do well to follow that lead here in the rematch.
No, I agree, and I think that's why Coach Nelson's looking to try to create tempo and to take charge and go right at American.
Martindale taking charge, kicks it out to Luke. Step in, mid-range, got it. Good looking stroke by Kyrell Luke. He joined Kit Hughes, the new athletic director, on the court before the game to receive his Patriot League Rookie of the Year award. Look out, this kid is gonna be something special.
Well, good look there when Kyrell Luke just gave himself an opportunity to get a shot off. He went to open space.
Crowd getting involved now. Josh Alexander goes backdoor. Nice runner to the rim. That's Johnny O'Neal. 17 points, team high, 8 rebounds last time out in that win against Loyola. That was a 14-0 lead early on for the Eagles. They led by as many as 23, dominant in the final game of the regular season, but lost the tiebreaker to Bucknell to finish 10th. Loose ball on the floor, Gates still fighting for it. And finally we get a whistle for a jump ball. Possession arrow to the Eagles.
Well, nice hustle again, a little skirmish on the floor. Those 50-50 balls, Holy Cross, both teams actually, you know, it's very important that they get their hands on that and get possession.
Two teams with young players, just a couple upperclassmen setting the tone. Becton for the Eagles, Gerald Gates for the Crusaders. Both coaches have talked a lot about weathering the storm. November and December didn't look great for either of these two teams in non-conference play, but when I talked with Brent Nelson yesterday, he said, you know, looking back at that time in the season, we were a totally different team. It sucked at time when you're battling through difficulties like protocols and, you know, accountability with young players, but he said it's been paying off down the stretch. Oh, what a relentless effort by Stacey Becton.
Well, again, you look at his length and his quickness, and
as head coach Mike Brennan said against Loyola, anytime it got dicey, Becton delivered. Nice pass out to Dorsey. Luke closed down quickly by Donadio. 8 to shoot. Luke wiggles through for 2. That's the attack mode Holy Cross needs from its freshman point guard.
nice job on the reversal by Judson Martindale, and then Luke just took advantage of the opportunity before him.
Brett Nelson said if the team was a little bit more complete around Kyrell Luke, he might be leading the league in assists, and his team would have had 10 wins in league play. High off the glass, it's Colin Smalls. finding the tight seams. He had 19 points here last time. He went 10 of 12 at the line.
Again, Small's doing a great job of getting it inside, protecting the basketball, and scoring the bucket for the Eagles.
Kenny, left hand, short, went back up for the board, tapped around to Becton. You know, Holy Cross, Kev, has been losing the battle for offensive boards the last handful of games. They were a little bit better earlier on in Patriot League play. They need Kenny to step up in those spots.
Well, I know that Coach Nelson really wants him to attack the offensive glass.
Alexander knows how to attack the glass. We've seen flashes of him on defense, but now starting to elevate his game offensively, averaging about 5 points in 15 minutes as a senior. One of those rare upperclassmen for American. 14-13, Eagles in front. Luke, nifty pass, and Gates hits from the mid-range.
Well, again, if you give Jarrell Gates that space, he's going to hurt you, and he knocks it down right there. Big bucket for the Crusaders.
Holy Cross, 3 of its last 4. American, 4 of its last 5. Long way for Smalls to run. Skip pass to the corner. That missed it all. Lorenzo Donadio from Rome, Italy.
Spall's doing a nice job of getting the ball to the basket and then the kick out.
Same spot, other side for Gates, and he missed it.
Again, Kevin, I think it's really important that Holy Cross communicate on the defensive end. They can't get caught up in the screens. They've got to make sure that they switch and they're loud about it.
Great ball movement here by the Eagles. High dribble.
That they came out of the gate early. They wanted to push the basketball. They did that. Had a couple early turnovers, but they seem to have settled down now with the 1-point lead.
3 giveaways for Holy Cross, just 1 for American so far. Martindale's looked crisp in the early going, moving his feet well, covering a lot of space. Montgomery fakes the handoff, gets baseline. Top side with 8 to shoot. Dejon Humphrey, first call, his 3, back iron. And a skying board for Jackson Notek. Notek, the senior from River Falls, Wisconsin. See a couple upperclassmen for American, but they typically come off the bench. They've got young stars on the rise. Here's that 5th-year senior. Becton swims through. Offensive foul.
Oh, great hustle. Dejon Humphrey defensively, but an illegal screen. You take a look at it here. Opportunity, Kev, for Holy Cross.
First personal foul for Matt Rogers. Trying to get the big man to pick up a couple. Brave pass, rolled right back into the hands of Bo Montgomery. And turned over. Martindale asking a little too much on the bounce.
Yeah, it was a tough pass. Very congested with 2 defenders.
Notek skies through and got fouled in the back of the head. So Kyrell Luke called for his first of the game. Second team foul for the Crusaders, just 3 for American. And Jackson Notek will shoot 56% at the line this season. Good on the first. American just 9-21 this year, but they look so locked in on senior day last time out against Loyola. Brett Nelson was disappointed to see his team finish off the regular season with 3 straight losses. But again, it was a tough schedule down the stretch. Colgate, they went toe-to-toe with them for long stretches of the game earlier in the week. Army, though, just really bludgeoned them defensively. That was a tough game to watch on Saturday, Kev.
Well, it's exceptionally physical. You know, the referees allowed them to play. Holy Cross, I think, got bullied a little bit, especially in that low post area.
Becton will come off the floor along with Notek.
One of the things, Kevin, in that Army game is that we didn't see a lot of white jerseys on the offensive glass. I think for them to win tonight, they're going to have to get some offensive putbacks.
No offensive boards on either end yet. 7 to shoot for Luke. Here's Montgomery, the sophomore, raising his game. No good, and what a board by Johnny O'Neal at 6'9". Patriot League Rookie of the Year last year. Scouting report is out on him now. No longer a surprise. Bullet pass down low, and that draws a foul. Coulibaly can't believe it.
Well, Luth Coulibaly, a little physical, a little push in the back there. Here's the pass into the low post. You take a look, there's Coulibaly. So it was a flash that came across. Matt Rogers doing a nice job making himself big to get that pass inside the post area.
First foul for Coulibaly, who's averaging about 15 minutes per game this season. Perfect cut right through the lane, and it's finished by Colin Smalls. Again, he has found the space inside time and again against Holy Cross.
Well, with that Princeton offense, Kevin, they're going to be doing backdoor cuts all day, every day, all night long.
Perfect pass by Gates, but Montgomery missed the easy finish. Those are the opportunities that Holy Cross can't let go. Once they get around the rim, they've got to finish stronger. That cost them against Army as well.
Absolutely. This is playoff basketball. Those are the ones that you need to make to advance to the next round.
Brett Nelson said, that was one of the best defensive games we played all year against Army at home. Didn't make any shots. Can't take so many tough twos and have to convert the easy ones. What a spin move in the paint. That's Elijah Stevens, kid from Waco, Texas. First-year point guard, just like Kyrell Luke. They've taken huge steps in their game this season. Martindale, how's that not a foul?
Well, no call there.
Nifty feed, and dunked down by Smalls. Are you? Holy Cross trying to build some momentum here in the postseason. An opportunity here at home to pick up postseason win number 1 under third-year head coach Brett Nelson. Out of the timeout, Holy Cross down 7, largest deficit of the game. Gates working on the low block, bodied by Alexander. Luke spins around him, pulls up, and hits. Kyrell Luke looking good to start this game. Team best 6 points.
Well, nice job once again. High percentage shot, got himself into a great position. Big bucket for the Crusaders there.
That snapped a 4-minute scoreless drought for Holy Cross. Perfect feed inside to Alexander. On time, time and again, down in the low post.
Again, American doing a great job here in the first half of getting the ball inside on that pick and roll or the zipper cut.
American now 9 of 14 on 2-point shots. Gates working hard for any space. 7 to shoot. Luke hoists, no.
Kevin, American's done a great job defensively. They made an adjustment, and they're really after Jarrell Gates.
Becton gets right around Bubba Humphrey. And all of a sudden, it's a 9-point game, largest lead for American.
Great spin dribble and finish by Becton. Just shows you his quickness for somebody his size.
Humphrey's turn, got fouled by Stevens on the reach. And the first year took the worst of it.
Eagles foul 23, Stevens his second.
Well, you take a look at this spin move right here. What a great job by Becton, an outstanding finish off the glass.
And it's clear the energy's been zapped a bit here at the Hart Center after that show-stopping dunk by Colin Smalls going into the last timeout. Humphrey good on the first. Really good catch and shoot player. If he can pick and choose his spots a little bit more closely. He was one of the players that Nelson said was biting off a little bit more than he could chew against Army and Colgate. Humphrey was really good in second half minutes off the bench against the Raiders. Humphrey checks out. Nolan Dorsey into the game. Defensive specialist turning more offensive as this season goes. Martindale out there as well, along with Kenny, Gates, and Luke. Another backdoor cut. Wave off the shot. Foul was before the shot. So Judson Martindale called for his first foul. 14th foul on Holy Cross, 4 for American. And we were talking before the game, Kev, the way this is officiated could go a long way in determining how effective Holy Cross can be in the post against American.
Again, you know, if they allow the physicality to take place, which it appears right now that they are doing, I think that Holy Cross can get themselves in a really good position to get back into this ball game.
And that was a great example right there. Dorsey was engaged with Alexander. A lot of hooking and holding, and they just kept battling for space, and it led to an American turnover. 7-point hole for Holy Cross with 6:10 to go in the first. High post, Gates off the deck, spins inside. Offensive board and putback. Right on time, Caleb Kenny.
Well, great job by Kenny going after the miss there. Again, we know that he has great timing and he can jump out of the gym. Outstanding finish, big bucket for the Crusaders.
6'5", wingspan of 7'3". Backdoor open again, denied.
Well, again, a little bit of contact. Officials are letting them play. Nice job by the Crusaders.
Great ball movement. Luke's three, got it! Here come the Crusaders. It's a 2-point game.
Well, again, you like to see the momentum start to shift. The crowd starting to get a little bit of excitement going here.
Brett Nelson leading that charge from the sideline, trying to amp up the intensity. 7-0 run for the Crusaders. Gates tried to deny Alexander, got it on the turnaround.
Well, Alexander at 6'8", is a big boy, does a great job with his body. Again, makes himself big, Kevin, in the low post. Jarrell Gates has got to get around and side front that.
Here's the matchup again. Gates, fall away, rattles it in. Jarrell Gates starting to climb higher. He's got 8 points.
Little shooter's touch there, nice job, touched all the rim.
He's 3 of 5 from the floor, a couple made free throws as well.
American, again, relentless with their backdoor cuts.
Becton backing down Kenny. Too tough on the shot. Kenny with a couple rebounds now, leading his team. 2-point game. Closing in on the final 4 minutes of the first half. Kenny working on Alexander. Spins it out, Martindale's triple. Back iron.
Again, we talked quite a bit about Judson Martindale's quick release. He did a nice job there. That was a high percentage shot. It was a 3, but it was a good looking shot. Hands down, no question about it. Jarrell Gates here at Holy Cross has been outstanding the entire season.
Suk Matone from BU, the player of the year in this conference. Hard to argue with that choice this year. He was a beast, especially here against Holy Cross. Another connection down low again for American. They have looked so good down in the painted area, low post, backdoor cuts. That's where they've gotten a majority of their points.
Well, and again, that backdoor cut, Becton right there.
Gates trying to answer. Spins off the double, clanked it.
Yep.
Eagles with a little juice here. Bombs away. It's Matt Rogers, made it look easy. This is something that Holy Cross really had trouble against early in the season, Kev. All those backdoor actions against service academies, other teams that run the Princeton. It looked like they had shored it up, but today, American is really taking advantage.
Well, and they're not going to stop. It's going to be relentless. They're going to continue to do that the rest of the game.
Gates, 6 to shoot, got fouled, and he'll go to the line for a pair.
Well, again, Gates doing a nice job shot faking, a little jab step, give himself a little bit of space, and he got hit. 2 big free throws for the Crusaders here.
Holy Cross, 4th best free throw shooting team in the Patriot League. And Gates stays perfect at the line tonight. So after the second foul on Rogers, he'll sit. 4 points, 2 of 3 from the floor in just 9 minutes for the center. 5-point deficit for the Crusaders. Rattles another one in. Holy Cross trying to snap a 6-game losing streak against American. That Princeton offense has taken advantage of them time and again. Watch the back door is the call from the fans behind us. in and out for No Tech. See if Holy Cross pushes the pace. Outside, Dorsey's turn. No good on the three. Oh, what a rebound by Gates. No Tech had the position, but Gates wanted it more and then traveled.
Well, Jarrell just tried to do a little bit too much. He slid his pivot foot, caused him to travel. Huge rebound.
Holy Cross is winning the rebound advantage in this game, 12-11. Alexander hands it off to the speedy freshman Stevens, and offensive foul. Quick turnover there by American.
Again,
it's going against Josh Alexander.
Great position defense by Holy Cross, and Alexander kind of cleared out. Referee's right there on the call.
16th foul on American, just one more to give. Only 4 fouls for Holy Cross. No more to give, actually. Next one will put them in the 1-1. Crusaders trailed by as many as 9. Down to 4. Oh, Gates just lost the feed. A little bit too high. He was marked closely by Alexander.
Again, I think American's defense has really turned it up a little bit.
Gates got the rebound. Martindale lost it in the lane. Bo Montgomery was wide open in the corner. He's jumping up and down. He wanted it bad.
Well, that's the direction the ball was going, but he ended up, instead of throwing a little lob to the corner, he ended up throwing a straight pass that was knocked away.
High post again, Alexander directing the traffic. He's not getting what he wants from Donadio. 6 to shoot, he fires away. No good. Final minute here in the first half. Luke trying to activate Gates. He is engaged in a battle with Alexander. Drives right into him. Off the block. Draws the contact. Offensive foul. It's on Jarrell Gates. His first, team's 5th. Holy Cross scoreless over the last 2:03. Americans gone scoreless the last 2:32. Something's got to give here in the closing seconds of the first half. Luke got tossed aside by Donadio. Alexander blocked. Gates again. O'Neal fall away. No good. And Gates gets the rebound. A board and 2 blocks on the same trip. Gates, 3 to shoot. Humphrey, correction, Montgomery, offensive foul. So with 0.2 to go here in the first. Foul goes against Montgomery. Kevin Wells is moving over to get set to talk with Brett Nelson, so we'll have a live interview momentarily. 4-point cushion for the Eagles here. And no time for a catch and shoot. So the Eagles will just tap it out. Brett Nelson looking for Patriot League tournament win number 1. First home game in the postseason for the Crusaders dating back to 2015, but American is holding court again, looking for a 7th straight win over the Crusaders. Well, back to Gates, the leading scorer. Face up on Rogers. Missed into the corner. Oh, what a save by Montgomery. And a fresh possession for the Crusaders. Dorsey wasting no time. That's 3! Nolan Dorsey mugs for the crowd in the corner. Took a look at the women's basketball team. They're fired up. It's a 1-point game.
Well, big bucket there. He hit one early on in this ball game. Great start for the Crusaders.
Defense chant to start the second half. Becton on a tear going to the line. Leading scorer for his team. 8 points, 2 rebounds in the first half. He is so tough to guard.
Well, again, you look at his right hand. Here's a good look at Nolan Dorsey as he knocks down that trifecta. But Becton can take it to his right. That's his strength, and he uses his body very well.
That kid's got some swagger, doesn't he? Nolan Dorsey. He has a confident stroke. Started as a defensive stopper after Malcolm Townsell went out with that unfortunate season-ending knee injury. And Dorsey has just shown us time and again he's adding to his game. Earned a lot of starts down the stretch this season, making his 8th start, and it comes in the Patriot League tournament after he played just 8 games at New Mexico before coming to Worcester.
Oh, he's definitely taking advantage of the opportunities before him.
Bo Montgomery, though, could be the X factor in this game. Dorsey looking for an open look again. Instead, it's Luke on the drive. No look pass, and Gates lost it.
Well, not a bad idea. Tough pass through traffic. Just out of the reach of Jarrell Gates.
Luke and Gates tied for the team lead with 3 assists each. Attack mode was the message from Brett Nelson going into this game. He wanted Luke to get to the cup. Becton knows how to get to the cup. Good defense by Gates. Didn't get credit for the block, but threw up a stone wall. Rogers dribbles around, got blocked by Luke. Back up, no good. Gates got the board. I think Kyrell Luke is outsized by almost a foot against Matt Rogers. Gates, aggressive take, wave it off. He's fouled.
Well, again, give the Crusaders kudos. Great job on the defensive board down the other end. Take a look at it here. Kyrell Luke showing that he can sky with the best of them.
What's your favorite song, Kev? Come Fly With Me?
It is. It's one of them, yeah. And he
Heard
certainly
that a lot this season.
And he can do that.
Handoff, deep 3. No good for Luke. Dorsey got back down quick on defense to turn away Stevens. Alexander. Perfect find, down low again. It's Johnny O'Neal, the back door still open for American.
Well, again, it's not necessarily the initial cut because he wasn't open on the initial cut, but he continued through, and great job offensively by American watching that cutter all the way through.
American just looks crisper and sharper, moving away from the basketball, off the ball. Late in this season, it took a long time for the Eagles to get comfy in this Princeton offense, but it's finally happening. Gates missed from the short corner. It's usually his best shot.
Well, quick turnaround. He didn't take much time to set himself.
Becton got fouled. Caleb Kenny can't believe it.
Crusader foul, 35, Caleb Kenny, his first.
So a first on Caleb Kenny, second team foul here in the second.
Again, Stacey Becton just continuing to attack the rim with the ball in his hands. He's very, very creative, Kevin.
Missed on the first. Brett Nelson said he's so versatile with length and athleticism. Compared him to Tucker Richardson, who tore up the Crusaders with Colgate just a couple days ago. I think Richardson went, what, 9 of 10 from the floor? I mean, he was unconscious last Wednesday. Back to a 6-point lead for American. They led by as many as 9 in the first half.
Again, it's going to be really important here. Holy Cross, I was just going to say, moving without the ball and moving the ball.
Judson Martindale says, anything you can do, American.
Little taste right back at you. Nice job getting it inside to Martindale on the cut.
Alexander lost it. Last touch by the Crusaders.
Again, Kyrell Luke a little late. Knocked it away from behind. Great job defensively.
Going back to that finish by Martindale. What an assist from Nolan Dorsey. Becton off the glass.
Just inexcusable. Way too late to get there. Becton never should have got that pass.
Becton leading all scorers now with 13 points. All Patriot League third team selection, 5th honor in his decorated 5-year career. Also has a couple 2-time all defensive team selections. Kenny tied up, jump ball. It's going to American.
Well, smothering defense, nice job as Americans guards dump that inside and tie up Kenny. You take a look at it here. Great quickness, great hands. Colin Smalls.
Doing it all again for his team against Holy Cross. Hasn't missed from the floor, making some sharp defensive plays as well. Back to Alexander. Great ball fake. Clanked it side rim. Dorsey got a touch. It belongs to the Crusaders.
Holy Cross catches a break there, an opportunity for them. Again, you're absolutely correct. Great ball fake inside. Nice move to the rim, just clanked it.
Martinsdale getting a lot of touches here tonight. Step in by Luke. That's easy from the free throw line.
Well, it's definitely money for Kyrell Luke. Squares up, sees the defender get by him, and he just goes to that open space again and knocks it down.
When R.J. Johnson went down with an injury, they threw Kyrell Luke into the fire. He led this team in minutes throughout the campaign, learning the toughest position on the floor. Alexander quarterbacking again. Outside it goes from O'Neal. Dribble drive, Smalls, his first miss, and got it back. No, that's O'Neal in the corner. Becton back to Smalls. And Stevens slows it up. Stevens with 7 helpers. Now drives alone for 2.
Well, nice job getting to the basket there. He turned the corner and just went very hard to the basket.
Just 5'9". Speedy. Nelson said changes were coming in the second half. So far, how have the Crusaders looked?
Well, so far, not so good so far. But to be honest with you, American does a great job of moving without the basketball. If you remember, Kevin, the great Larry Bird moved without the basketball probably better than any player in NBA history.
The hick from French Lick, and nice finger roll there by the kid from River Falls, Wisconsin, another Midwesterner, Jackson Notek.
You know, again, American attacking the glass, getting down into the lane.
Kenny, nice spin move in the lane, too strong. Ball's loose, away go the Eagles. Colin Smalls into Martindale, tie up, jump ball, going back to the Crusaders.
Well, great transition by Judson Martindale, and again, you take a look at it, great hands here by Judson Martindale. Colin Smalls gets tied up. Holy Cross gets the ball back here. Crucial time, Kevin.
Those 50-50 plays have got to go the Crusaders' way if they want to stay in this game. Down 8 with 14 and change to go. Win or go home in the first round of the Patriot League tournament. Batted out by Jackson Notek.
Koulibaly being a little apprehensive with the passing there. Almost got it stolen.
Holy Cross has gone scoreless the last 2 minutes. Koulibaly reeled it back in. Now it's Bubba's turn. Tapped back by Koulibaly. Third chance, no. Dorsey back into the hands of Humphrey. Perfect pass inside to Koulibaly. All credit to Bubba Humphrey for keeping that drive alive.
What an outstanding pass to dump it inside there. Great finish. Time for a defensive stop, Kev.
Becton calling the shots in his final campaign as a graduate. Denied. Loose ball to Dorsey. Picked up in transition by the Eagles. Humphrey inside. Koulibaly, 2 more. Hoop and hard.
It all starts with the pass, Kevin. What a great dime pass into the low post. Koulibaly with the shot fake and the strong finish with someone right on his back. Again, great defense, Dejan Humphrey. Here's the great pass inside, Koulibaly with the outstanding fake and the strong finish.
Coaches say he's been learning to take it harder to the rim, getting more confident with his post moves, but that was a dime from Dejan Humphrey. Did all the work for him there. It'll stay a 4-point game after the missed freebie.
Right where we were at the half.
Kick ball, that's one way to stop the backdoor cut.
Whatever works, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Just deny those free runners streaking along the baseline.
High hands, active feet. Really important for this Crusader bunch of kids.
It's all about sharing the ball in the Princeton offense. And we see it a lot here in the Northeast. High feed to Alexander and a foul on the Crusaders.
Crusader fouls number 21.
It's Nolan Dorsey just picked up his first.
Again, nice patience by American working the ball around. They went right inside. Dorsey actually with a good foul there.
3 team fouls apiece for both of these squads. Hasn't been that ticky-tack action that we saw against Army and Colgate. Tucked by Stevens, bailed out with the foul. And it's going on Dorsey again, back-to-back, his second.
Well, again, Elijah Stevens doing a great job. You take a look at it here. Gets himself right across the lane. Nice soft touch by the lefty.
Stevens burst onto the scene, Rookie of the Week in the Patriot League in his first 2 career starts earlier this season. Shot better than 55% through the non-conference schedule. He is a really nice piece added by Mike Brennan as he's getting set to head into his 10th season next year with American. Luke, another outstanding first year with the left, too strong, and a rebound to Becton. Well, Becton's been showing off now. 13 points, 6 rebounds in his 26 minutes.
Well, Kev, it's one and done here, so Stacey Becton absolutely does not want this to be the last game of his career.
5th team foul for Holy Cross. Just 3 for American here with 12:10 to go. 2 fouls on Kyrell Luke. For American, 4 fouls now on Matt Rogers, so we might not see much of the kid from Knoxville, Maryland late in this one. Donadio looking for a seam. BU back in 2020 didn't get a chance to compete in the tournament that year due to COVID-19 issues, but you like BU again this year as a potential underdog.
Well, I think that you can't, they might be a sleeper, if you will, even though they're second in the Patriot League, but they could give Colgate fits.
Another foul. After Nolan Dorsey picked up his 3rd going into the timeout, it's Luthem Koulibaly picking up, let's see, is that his 2nd or 3rd? Looks like his 2nd.
Well, again, Koulibaly with high hands. He must have hit him with his hip.
It's been tough to watch the last couple minutes. Josh Alexander, the beneficiary here. Nearly got everybody leaning on the free throw line, missed it and still got the board.
Well, yeah, he got his own rebound.
Like a hard count in football. Seven on the shot. Stevens faked the give. Right back to him. Now 2. Pass to Hoist. No chance.
Absolutely correct. They've got to go through BU, so we're in the opposite bracket of Colgate, and Colgate is an absolute formidable opponent.
Colgate again with Two first-team All-League selections in Nellie Cummings and Tucker Richardson. Count the bucket and one for Jarrell Gates right out of the break. That's exactly what the Crusaders needed.
Huge bucket for Holy Cross, and again, Jarrell Gates taking it hard. Look at his left hand going to the basket. You know, what a great job. He puts it to the floor, takes it hard to the basket, gets foul, opportunity for a three-point play.
R.J. Evans told us earlier this year he's worked so hard on his footwork. He looks as elusive as ever as a senior, and he'll be back for more next season. 45-42, American lead down to 3. We're getting into crunch time here in the first round. Alexander's taken that shot a few times in this game. Stevens pushes off, turned it over.
Well, great collapsing defense that time by Holy Cross. I was just going to say, Kevin, second half here, Holy Cross has done a better job on those backdoor cuts in terms of defending it.
Held the Eagles scoreless the last 140, while Holy Cross has made 3 of its last 4. Run in progress. It's been a long time since Holy Cross had the lead. Luke, 3 ball, no. This team could just find a way to make some threes. That's been the story all season. They are 27% again tonight.
You know, Kevin, overall, they've been very patient with their offense.
It's because once you get the ball to Becton, you just get out of the way and let him cruise through on the baseline. Humphreys triple, no good. And right back to Becton. He's padding the stats now, 15.7 boards. Leading all scorers and all rebounders in this game. Down to the last 10 minutes in Worcester.
Well, they say patience is a virtue, and American is very patient with their offense, so the clock will be their friend for the final 10 minutes.
Alexander went up and got it. Foul on the floor, it's on Holy Cross. Dejon Humphrey called for his first. 8th team foul for the Crusaders, just 4 for American.
Again, American dumps it inside. They go to the big man at 6'8", taking advantage of his length and height.
Alexander makes amends after missing the front end of his last 1-and-1. Brett Nelson coaching up Dejon Humphrey. Defense to offense, that's how his game has always been triggered. Makes a great play on one end, it feeds over to the offensive side.
Well, again, I think one of the things that Coach Nelson has done successfully the entire year is live in the moment. Remember, don't make the same mistake you made in the past, but move on. And I'm sure that's what he was just talking to Dejon about.
Holy Cross back down 7. Martindale flashes inside. Missed with the right, and another board to the Eagles. These are one-and-done trips for Holy Cross, turning costly late.
Well, again, it's important that you see more white jerseys on the offensive glass. I understand the fast break and getting back, but they've got to get more people attacking the offensive glass.
Both teams with 5 offensive board, no advantage there. Alexander wide open inside, just turned away from his man all season long. We thank you so much for tuning in to the Patriot League on ESPN. A lot of growth for this Holy Cross team, but they have got to dig out of another second half hole here if they want to continue their postseason dreams and give Brett Nelson his first postseason win as a head coach. Gates swims baseline, got fouled. And right out of a timeout, Kevin, why not go back to your meal ticket, the All-Patriot League second team selection?
What do they say, Kev? What did they say when you were back in high school? You got to dance with the one that you took to the prom. And here you go, Jarrell
Something
Gates.
like that, yeah.
They dump it inside, and Jarrell Gates takes it hard to the basket, finds a way to either get fouled or to score to the basketball.
When I asked Mike Brennan what the key was going to be against Holy Cross. He said what every coach has said in this league: handle the physicality of Gates in the paint. Easier said than done. So the foul was called on Notek, his first. 15th foul on American.
If you watch American on the defensive end, like every other team, they really shadow Gates, especially with the weak side person coming over.
Becton went right over the top of Gates and Dorsey. Little baby hook. That's out of Jarrell Gates' playbook as well. Montgomery has to generate more offense late. Gates got fouled on the drive. So Josh Alexander called for his third. Already 4 fouls on the center, Matt Rogers.
You take a look, Stacey Becton. Boy, Kev, I got to tell you, kind of effortlessly.
Count it.
Once again, if you watch Jarrell Gates here, he does the spin, but then watch, there's his left shoulder giving himself some space, pulls the ball back to his right side so he doesn't get it blocked. Great finish.
That's a strong man right there. And he's only getting better as the season goes on. This is like a normal night. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 5 blocks. That's a new single game career high. The next step in Jarrell Gates' game, according to him and his head coaches, wants to add a couple threes. Could make him look a lot more like Draymond Green next season. Do it all.
I don't know if that's
big.
I don't know if that will be his preferred shot.
Smalls wide open inside again. It's a great feed from the high post. American is hitting that each and every time as Martindale answers with 2.
Judson Martindale getting it right back, taking it hard to the basket.
American lead still at 6. Smalls trying to play it outside. Stevens chased it down. Stevens on the attack, too high off the glass, and Gates with one hand.
Well, another huge rebound and a great opportunity of Holy Cross to cut into the lead.
Gates got blocked. That was Notek. Away goes Stevens into Martindale, and the foul is called.
Well, we're certainly going to find out.
You know, little birdie told me that Teddy Bruschi was here today visiting the football team.
I heard that rumor as well.
I also heard a little birdie tell me that Bill Belichick was here. He was out supporting his daughter Amanda, head coach of the women's lacrosse team here at Holy Cross. So football on the brain. It's only March, but fall will be here before you know it. Gates active in the lane. No foul.
Again, great weak side help as they collapsed on Gates.
Holy Cross has had to battle for every inch in the paint. American, on the other hand, getting those free runners along the baseline through the back door. Princeton offense looking smooth in this game. Becton, not smooth there, traveled with it. He was pestered by Gates. There's still time, Kev, 6:20 to go. Holy Cross just got to make some shots on the other end.
Well, there's plenty of time, but they've got to get stops like this on the defensive end, and then they've got to score the basketball.
And it's got to be somebody else beyond Gates. Humphrey steps in. Martindale deferred the shot. Hoop and harm off the glass.
Well, again, great job by Holy Cross, reversing the basketball, sharing the basketball, and Judson Martindale taking it hard to the basket, gets clipped on his way in, puts it in off the window. Big score for Holy Cross.
Last season, Martindale takes that shot right away. This season, he's going for the old-fashioned 3.
Well, again, you know, I think that he has grown as a player where he sees if he's not shooting the ball well, how else can I contribute? And one of the ways for this 6'6" wing is to take the ball to the rack.
And getting inside will be critical. Oh, Dorsey got hooked on the loose ball. Diving goes Luke, and somehow Stevens comes away as I nearly took one off the grill, but Stevens took the worst of it. And it's going to be Holy Cross basketball. What a sequence. We have a front row seat.
Great hands, partner. You had your high hands. You almost had that. Here's the hustle. There's Nolan Dorsey. The ball goes loose. Kyrell, Luke, they're all hitting the deck. And then American runs right into each other. It doesn't matter how you get the ball, Kev. It's the fact that you get the ball. Now they got to score it.
Stevens is coming off the floor. He got hit in the face, and it looks like he might have a contact issue. I know what that's like. Give him some Renew Multi-Plus. And that's what we just confirmed. He's going to get some time to put in a new contact. That was confirmed by our officials, Bill McCarthy, the referee, Tommy Deneen, and Mike Fleury, as the football team just realized they need to be on the other side of the floor because that's where the opposing team is shooting. So, well, they've put this all together now, and they're going to be a factor down the stretch.
Well, and they need to be. And with good and just cause, my friend. So it's really important that Holy Cross does a great job of transitioning from their defensive end to the offensive end, scoring the basketball. And then, of course, the 6-man award, this Crusader bunch.
And they're not shy either, are they?
Absolutely not.
Robert Chesney has built a juggernaut in Patriot League football.
Well, I think Bedlam may break loose under that basket. It's going to be tough to shoot at if you're an American player.
No matter what happens, it's going to be fun to watch down the stretch. I was talking with Robert Chesney earlier this fall, and he said, I love watching Brett Nelson's team practice. He said, I'm all about intensity. Bob has said that time and again. He wants his team to be the toughest team in the league on the ground. Just look at their defense. Incredible at all three levels. And sometimes he'll just take a seat here at the Hart Center and learn from Brett Nelson. Out of the timeout, Stevens has a fresh contact lens. It's a 6-point game, and the Crusaders have new life. Luke with 5 to shoot, trying to work off Gates. A lot of blue jerseys inside, shot clock violation. Brett Nelson saying, Kyrell, you've just got to go up with that. Not enough time.
Hats off to American for a nice job on the defensive end that time. Good stop. Holy Cross got to get back at it right now.
Rogers playing with 4 fouls out of the high post. Smalls, he's been a handful each of the last 2 meetings. Crossover, Becton, deflected and scores. Becton went strong with it. He's got 19.
Well, again, Stacey Becton, you know, the really long guard, left crossover from the left to the right, and a big score.
Humphrey couldn't hit on the move. It's an 8-point game with less than 5 to play. Becton attacks, scores with the right. 4 points in a row for Stacey Becton Jr. The kid from Daytona Beach has been a star, following in the footsteps of Saeed Nelson, one of the all-time greats for the Eagles. Can he deliver an upset on the road here in the closing 4+?
Again, Becton does not want this to be his last ball game. He's a one-man wrecking crew. He's doing a great job.
Same sort of shot for Humphrey, but it's not fallen deep from the mid-range. More of a catch-and-shoot player. I'm not sure that's what Brett Nelson's looking for.
A lot of support for this Crusader team.
Backdoor again, layup for O'Neal. Largest lead of the game for American, it's a dozen. Luke turned it over.
Well, no call by the officials. Obviously, they didn't think there was enough contact there.
6-0 run for American. Holy Cross hasn't scored in 2.5. Danger time here at the Hart Center.
It's the basketball, Kev.
The He is a really tough matchup, and if this team goes on to face Navy, don't forget they played within a couple possessions on the road against the Midshipmen, so that could be a tasty matchup in a potential 2 versus 10 game. Less than 3 to go here at the Hart Center. Crusaders need a score. Wrong side of a 6-0 run. Kenny nearly lost it. Steed with it for 2.
Well, nice job by the lefty getting inside. Little mid-range jumper.
Football team, lighten up the defense chant. Stevens wanted to go inside to Rogers. 6 on the shot. O'Neal trapped in a tough spot. Becton has to go, hoists a 3, missed it. And Luke skies up for the board, but Stevens pulled it away.
Well, Stevens swooped in as Kyrell was coming down with the basketball. Smart defensive play.
American with a 30-22 advantage on rebounds. Stevens threw it away. Dorsey with numbers. Martindale drives, leaves it in. We've gotten better. We found a way to win a postseason game.
Well, there's no time like the present. It's go time for this Crusader team.
Both these coaches said they had to work hard with young players battling through long stretches of losses, saying there are other ways to gauge success, but they need the wins for validation. Only one team can move on to face Navy. 8 on the shot. Backdoor, fumbled by Stevens. Races out of the corner, and a foul called.
Much to the chagrin of the Holy Cross faithful.
4th foul on Nolan Dorsey. 10 team.
Well, here's the dribble drive penetration to the basket. You can see where Dorsey kind of got his hand on his arm. They locked up a little bit.
Nothing but twine for Stevens on the first. Dorsey, the only Crusader with 4. Rogers and Alexander, 2 of the bigs for American, still playing with 4. Back to a 9-point game. 80 seconds to go here in Worcester. Luke nearly lost his footing. Great ball fakes. We'll stay here.
Well, nice job by Kyrell Luke that time, getting himself again in the low post area to try to get a shot off.
3 from Martindale. Got it! Shooter's roll.
On cue, Kev, you had mentioned that Martindale is playing exceptionally well.
Second leading scorer with 13, Kev.
Well, he just didn't have a 3, but we can check that box right now.
Martindale fighting hard and applies the foul on Becton. Holy Cross already at the limit, so Becton will shoot a pair. He's been pretty good at the line this year, hitting 3 out of every 4. Third foul on Martindale. And now the senior from Florida, Stacey Becton Jr. As clutch as they come. Graduated last year, working on his master's degree now. Not just a top scorer, a top defender. He rebounds, he helps, he does it all.
Obviously, at the free throw line here,
Takes 1 of 2.
He was dialed in a little bit.
Dorsey through the trees. Kenny, kick out, Luke's triple, good! That's just fine. Came in here, got the win by 6, and has a chance to pick up a 7th straight win. Broken down, oh, nearly a 3-point play. O'Neal got free.
Well, a good foul by Holy Cross, forcing O'Neal to go to the free throw line. You take a look at it here. Nice pass, good look ahead. Again, Nolan Dorsey knew he had 4, knew he was picking up number 5, but it's all about we and not me.
If that's the end of Nolan Dorsey's first campaign with the Crusaders, he deserves a lot of credit. 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He fouls out. And now here's O'Neal. In and out.
Well, again, Nolan Dorsey, if you remember, Kevin, he fought through injuries. He had that plantar fasciitis, and then he was able to come back from that. He was finally healthy, and he's been putting it together over the course of the last 8 to 10 ball games.
No good on both, and Jarrell Gates, who recovered from his own injury, gets the rebound. Martindale drives in again, gets the offensive rebound. Humphreys 3, short. Gates with space. Humphrey, wave it off, fouled before the shot as he goes tumbling. So the foul is called on Elisha Stevens, his 4th. 3 Eagles now, just 1 foul away from the DQ. And all eyes turn to Dejon Humphrey, the sophomore from Detroit. 80% shooter at the line this season. He's got 2. One for one.
Nice soft touch. Holy Cross will foul right away.
Crusader fans trying to shush the football players. 2 for 2. It's a 3-point game with 13 seconds left. Stevens fouled right away by Luke.
That freshman.
Stevens good on the first. Clutch. Makes them both. Crusaders have to go. Luke. Martindale. Gates, his 3. No good. An American is moving on. Did the foul come before the buzzer? Our officials coming together. There still might be a couple tenths left in this game.
Well, they're going to check the...
But that should all but do it, Kev.
Well, either way, I'm 68-63 at this point.
American already celebrating. Small contingent that came up from DC. Their shirts say no quit. There were days early in conference play where you wondered how motivated the Eagles would be playing shorthanded, battling through COVID, battling through injuries. They really could only go 7 deep the last time they came around to Worcester. But they've gotten better as the season goes on. They will move to 4-15 on the road this season. 2 of those wins here at Holy Cross.
Well,
Stacey Becton Jr., 22 points, 9 rebounds, and he gets a chance to add a couple more.
Well, again, who else with half a second left to go to the free throw line?
Becton's pursuit of his 100th career block will continue at Navy. Played him close last time they were down there. Could be an interesting matchup. That'll do it. American